Hello and welcome back to Knitting with Betty. It's been a while. Life has been hectic, but I will fill you in if you stay tuned. So today I will be talking about my top 3 predictions for the knitting and crocheting world in 2026. So take a look. So it's been a while since I last did a little video, and that is because it's been crazy. So as many of you already know, my mum's not been very well. Sort of the past the last 5 months of 2025, she was quite poorly, and we thought we were sort of getting there. She'd had TIA attacks, like a couple of them, and but her pharmacist was keeping an eye on her blood pressure, and it was all looking quite positive. It was beginning to come down again, and into the more sort of normal ranges. Still a little bit high, but getting back to normal. And then I went away to the Lake District, which was absolutely fabulous, for the Susan Crawford festive retreat, which I'll probably tell you about in the next video. And whilst I was there, on one of the days, I didn't hear from my mum in the morning, and I always text her in the morning, good morning, I hope you're okay. I didn't hear anything, and I was like, okay, that's a bit weird, that's not normal. She usually says hello to me. So a couple of hours later, I was like, a little bit worried. I haven't heard from my mum or my dad. So I was texting her and saying, are you okay? Is everything okay at home? And still no replies. So a couple of hours after that, I started ringing my parents, both of their mobiles and the home phone number as well, and nobody was picking up. So I was like, right, something's wrong, something's going on. And I just got a message from my mum saying, phone your father, he'll explain everything. Oh my God. And bless my mum, she had broken her arm. So she was in the bath and she'd dropped one of her earrings in the bath and went to go and pick it up, and she kind of overbalanced and landed on her arm and broke it in 3 places, no less. So about 2 arm bones straight through those 2, and she even, like this knobbly bit, she sheared that off completely, which the guy that took the x-ray or was looking after her said that he'd never seen that before, that someone completely like shear it off. So that was quite impressive. So she was cast from here to here, and she's had the cast on for the last six weeks or so. So she gets she has an appointment on Wednesday, which is probably when this video will go live actually, and I think they'll take another x-ray and see how it's healed, and they'll determine whether they can take it off or not. But she's been absolutely miserable about the whole thing, which has just made me laugh so much at her, because she's been so grumpy about it, because she can't do anything for herself. She can't do her hair, she can't wash her hair, she can't put on a bra, she can't do her trousers up when you go to the toilet. Like, you don't realise how much you use both hands to do a lot of stuff. She can't cook, she can't chop up vegetables because you use one hand to sort of anchor it in place and the other hand to chop. So she can't do anything. So it was at that point I was like, right, I'm going to cancel everything that is not necessary and just concentrate on getting through December, getting through the 6 weeks with her in cast. So everyone's fed and watered, and that's all I'm going to concentrate on. So that has meant I have put a lot of things on hold because I just couldn't cope with everything. And so my pattern, which I was going to bring out in January, is not going to be January now. It's going to be significantly delayed. I'm not going to put a time frame on it because I don't want to put any pressure on myself, because I was starting to get a little bit snowed under with pressure, and it was all starting to get on top of me basically. So I'm not going to give you a timeline. It will just be sometime this year, hopefully, as long as nothing else goes wrong. Hopefully that's all of my mum's bad luck with her health, and in 2026 she'll be back to normal again. But yes, she has been quite worrisome for me these past sort of 5 months, and I hope that she can just chill out a little bit this next year. But that all being said, today's video is just going to be my 3 predictions for 2026 for trends in the knitting world and crochet world as well. So I did a little video last year. So I think my 3 predictions last year were the colour Mocha Mousse. Then my second one was boucle. Not sure if that became a thing or not. And then my third one was cozy knits. And I think that kind of did come true. Like, everyone is craving that kind of coziness and safety because it's such a crazy world out there. So I think my predictions did come true. And like Mocha Mousse, although I am very much a colour person, I was drawn towards the more sort of earthy colours. So this one I started off at the beginning of the year, and this has actually become my favourite knit ever. I have worn this so much this year because it's just so useful. So I definitely recommend, if you want to have a go at this. It was a Serdar pattern. I'll put the pattern details in the box below, but it's such a lovely little knit that you definitely want to give it a go. And it's been so useful because it's that slight bit longer. Let me just try and get it all in. There we go. It keeps you really nice and warm, and obviously being fair oil, again, it keeps you nice and warm. So this is like my most favourite knit ever. But anyway, back on to 2026. So I should have actually looked this up beforehand. The Pantone colour, like Pantone, what is going on? Can we just like choose some more colourful colours, please? Because this year's Pantone is called, let me just look it up. Bear with me, guys. Pantone colour 2026. Like last year, we had the controversial Mocha Mousse. This year, I'd say it's even more controversial. Why are you taking me to that website? Come on. Let's... Pantone colour of 2026. It is Cloud Dancer. So I'll pop a little picture up of what Cloud Dancer is. And this is absolutely hilarious because it's beige, basically. So I think last year I kind of explained briefly that there has been this kind of beige trend going on, especially in fashion. And especially in interiors as well. Beige has very much become the next grey. So do you remember like 10 years ago, everyone was painting their walls and their furniture and everything grey, and the carpet would be grey and everything would be grey because it was like a Kelly Hoppen kind of interior where everything is grey and tonal and very calming and like a hotel room, basically. I think that's kind of morphed into the 2026 aesthetic is beige. And it's, again, a little bit of a throwback to last year's cozy trend, in that it's so crazy out in the world. Everything's going a little bit mad, that everybody is craving safety and calmness. So if you have very neutral, calm tones around you, you'll generally feel a little bit more calm and collected about the whole situation in the world. So I think it's the same kind of ethos. Maybe that's why they chose this colour. But also it made me laugh so much because there was I can't remember which paint company it was that had this advert a few months ago about like really pretentious names for the colour white. They had like a chart on the wall with all the colours of white, and they were called really pretentious things like snowman's bone and smoked cloud and things like that. It was really funny. So it just made me think of that. Cloud Dancer is what it's called. I suppose that's less of a pretentious name, Cloud Dancer. But yeah, I get it. I don't like it. Like, I'm a colour person, as you can tell by my room. But I get it. You know, we all want that safety net of something sort of cozy and to envelop us and keep us safe and calm. So I do understand perhaps why they chose that as the colour of the year, but it's a little bit boring. But yeah, I think neutrals again, it's just going to carry on. And I suppose if you look at my knit here, I've got the mocha mousse, but I've also got I think this was flower sack, this cashmere yarn, this beigey kind of colour. And it's a really good one because it just tones down the richness of the green and the rusty colour, and even to a certain extent the brown. So yeah, I get it. I don't think I'll be making a whole sweater in Cloud Dancer because I tend to spill my food down me quite a lot. And like white is just not a colour that I can wear. I remember I bought a pair of trousers, white wide leg trousers that kind of made me think, oh, I could go on a yacht with these. But I never wore them because, like, what was I thinking? White trousers when I've got 4 dogs. It's just not a practical colour for me to wear at all. So I will not be making a whole sweater out of white. But yeah, I definitely use it as accent colours or as like the background colour for a more colourful colour work project perhaps. So yeah, let me know in the comments. Are you embracing Cloud Dancer? Are you feeling that you need the calmness of beige? Are you a beige interior person? See, I grew up in a house, I think I've said this before, I grew up in a house of magnolia because my dad was a chartered surveyor, and so everything was about resale value of the house. So we had to have everything neutral so that like we couldn't put posters on the wall because the blue tack marks, and so when it came to sell the house, like people could see a blank canvas and how they wanted the house to be. So as a kind of rebellion to that, I have like very colourful walls now, and if I had my choice, I would completely cover the rest of my house in beautiful colours, but I don't have a choice, unfortunately. But I very much make my own spaces colourful, and I like using colour. So yeah, I can understand the beige aesthetic, but don't necessarily follow along with it completely, although I will probably incorporate it. So that's for me this year. So the second trend that I have been noticing that I predict will be big for 2026 is sequins in knits. So I have been seeing people use sequins in knits for the past year and really, really want to do this myself. So it's a little bit like holding 2 strands together. You have your main yarn and then you have a strand of like stringy, sequiny yarn, which is very thin. So it can make like a 4-ply. If you hold the 4-ply and the sequin together, it'll make it like double knit weight, sort of. So I really want to have a go at this. And actually, one of the ladies at the retreat that I went to in March, the Susan Crawford retreat, she was a German lady and she had the most beautiful sweater. It was just this beautiful kind of taupe colour with gunmetal kind of sequins running through it, and it was just so pretty because it just catches the light, and it's just so joyous, isn't it, to have sequins in your knit? So definitely want to do something with sequins. Don't know what yet. And I also saw on Instagram, I saw a designer advertising for a test knit where she did like this dress. It was almost like a caftan or like a summer cover-up for by the swimming pool that was held together with I think it was like a fluffy yarn as well as a sequiny yarn, and it was just so beautiful, this dress. I really want to do something like that. So I will try, I think, to do something sequiny. And I think that's going to be quite big, and it's bringing that joy, isn't it, into the knitting world. It's like, instead of looking for bad things in the world, look for little glimmers of joy. And I think using a sparkly yarn would be one of those. So yeah, sparkly yarn, that's my second prediction. And then the third prediction is it's kind of like a lifestyle-y kind of prediction. So in the UK, the TV programme The Traitors has been a really big show over here. And the host of it, Claudia Winkleman, wears a lot of heritage kind of clothing. So my third prediction is heritage. So what do I mean by that? So she wears things like tweeds. It's the TV series is filmed in the Scottish in a Scottish castle, and so she wears like tartans and tweeds and all those kind of heritage Scottish kind of fabrics. So for the knitwear side of things, it made me think about like traditional knitwear. So maybe if you're from Norway, like you'll do something Norwegian, like very typically Norwegian. I always think of like navy blue and white for Norway, and quite sort of detailed, like a blue background with like little dots of white all over. What's it called? It's like seed stitch, is it called? So maybe if you're Norwegian, you'll do something typically Norwegian, or if you're Swedish, something typically Swedish. Or indeed, if you're Scottish, you'll do something traditionally Fair Isle. That was a little bit controversial, the whole Fair Isle week on A Game of Wool, if you've watched that. But so, yeah. And I think people are in a world where everything's quite sort of technology-based. People are wanting to switch off from that. And then moving towards more traditional kind of hobbies where you do get to put all your technology away and learn a craft or a heritage craft like Fair Isle knitting or colour work. So I think it's going to be quite sort of regional almost. People are looking back to their heritage and, you know, what is typically Estonian in knitting or Norwegian or Scottish or whatever. So I think that could be like a big trend for 2026 and going forward from 2026. Just a general trend in sort of life moving forward. People are looking towards those more traditional kind of trades, I guess. And also it also reminds me of like that whole idea of slowing down and slow TV. I don't know if you've ever watched Bob Mortimer and Paul Whitehouse go fishing. It's a really lovely program. Like, I'm not into fishing at all, but I want to have a go at fishing now. But it's basically just two older men who go to a riverbank, sit in the beautiful countryside and fish, and they catch these fish. I'm like, yeah, I've got a really big fish, and then they put it back in the water, and then that's it. And they have a little chat as well. And it's just such a lovely idea of just kind of sitting and taking in the beautiful scenery and just, you know, slowing down and not having to look at your phone quite so much. So I think sort of that slow living and heritage and, you know, doing a craft like knitting or crochet, I think it's gonna be big. I mean, we already know that, you know, knitting and crocheting is big, but I think it could get bigger. And especially with the Game of Wool TV show. So it was a little bit controversial. And some of the tasks were a bit like, you wouldn't make that kind of stuff. But I think what we have to remember is this is a TV show. It's like a game show kind of format, that it's about bringing people into the craft. It's not aimed at people like us that are very used to knitting and know all the terminology and, you know, are expert knitters or whatever. It's about targeting, like, it's a gateway into the industry, isn't it? So if you see this program, you might be inspired to pick up some needles, pick up a crochet hook and get into a hobby like that. So I think we just have to remember who the target audience is and not look at that kind of controversial, everyone screaming at cultural appropriation, which I'm pretty sure for it to be cultural appropriation, the nation has to be like an oppressed nation rather than like Scottish, which are they oppressed? You could argue that the English might have oppressed them like hundreds of years ago, but I don't think we can call it cultural appropriation per se. But anyway, let's not go into these controversial topics. But I think we have to remember Game of Wool for what it is, and it is a gateway for people to get into knitting and yarny things. So let's all calm down. But yeah, so those are my 3 trend predictions for 2026. Let me know in the comments if you think any of them are you're going to have a go at. Do you think sequins are going to be big? Do you think heritage is going to be big? And do you think, what's my first one? I can't even remember what I said now. Oh yeah, cloud dancer, the colour white or beige. Do you think beige is going to be big? I'd love to know what your thoughts are on my predictions. And if you have any predictions of your own, is there something I've missed out? Have I missed out a major trend that you think is going to be happening in 2026? So let me know in the comments. Give this post a thumbs up because it helps other people find the video, and like and share. And hopefully I will see you soon. I'm not sure how long in between my videos will be. It depends on if my mother behaves herself and doesn't, injure another part of her. So I can't promise anything. But hopefully she'll calm down from now on, and so I won't have to look after her quite so much. But whatever you're doing, I hope you have a lovely January, and I will see you back soon.